Aaron, good morning.
Morning.
Not a typical Saturday morning. We're all very jealous of your NASA shirt. What is your connection with space? What is your connection with NASA?
It's a little bit of everything. I started reading Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke when I was young. So obviously from a science and science fiction point of view, just always outwardly thinking about space and technology. I've always had a desire to contribute technology specifically for space. Yes. In my career, I worked for a company that was founded as a team from NASA. Now, working with Amazon, I'm trying to get involved in as much as I can in terms of spreading technology in areas that matter. And to me, space matters, right? It's our future.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. So all weekend, what we're looking at is using data and space data. It's a lot of it, different formats and so forth. So it is technology that's going to help us make sense of that, to turn data into insights and knowledge. You're now dealing with new capabilities, machine learning, deep learning. You've got all of these technologies under the umbrella of artificial intelligence. Where is that at? Help us understand what interesting things we can do with really big data sets and how we might be able to turn them into knowledge and meaning, because that's a part of what you do and your role within Amazon as well, right?
So I would love to say that we're a lot more advanced than where we're at. Realistically, we are a drop in a pond. And what I mean by that is, like, if you talk to the astronomers, the data that we're analyzing at the moment is from years back of observation, right? And we're only touching the surface of the observable universe, right? For the data that we have, we're still touching the surface of what's capable and understanding what we can do with this data. So doing things like data visualization and using data to understand cosmic trends or even local trends in meteorology and different things that are affected by celestial body, all of this stuff, it all relates. But it's all in the data. And so we have to actually understand what we're looking at, and we're only just scratching the surface of what we're looking at. And so for every small piece of data that we uncover some sort of meaning for, there is some correlation with other data that we don't have a meaning for yet. So using these, like applying new algorithms and using the machine learning capabilities that we have now, are unlocking new capabilities by showing us the correlations between data, showing us that we need to build new algorithms to understand how to process this data and find these patterns in the data. At the end of the day, the data that we have on disk is the same as the star field out there. There's an innumerable amount of things to discover in the data.
So what excites us about the NASA Space Apps Challenge and the community is the sense of curiosity and possibility. But I wanted to ask you, not just for this hackathon, but even in your work and in what you do, what are the skills that not just young folk, anyone might learn from getting involved in a hackathon or from dealing with really big data sets and some of these problems, right?
Yeah. So I personally, my background is distributed systems, right? So I'm not a data scientist per se, but data drives everything, right? So when I look at the resilience of a system or building large scale systems together, I'm gathering data from all points of the system, right? So that's building a system out, using data to understand what systems to build. So the data that we're talking about in terms of observational data, the tools that we need to develop, the systems that we need to develop, all come from that data. And then understanding how efficient is the system, are we achieving the goal to analyze that data. It doesn't matter whether you're a data scientist, whether you're an engineer, whether you're building a system to gather the data or analyze the data, it all comes from the data. So having some sort of understanding of how to manipulate, how to work with, how to analyze data is the very foundation of any educational launching pad into industry and technology.
And it's back to the problem solving that
exactly.
we talk about, right?
It's all problem solving.
Amazing. Well, this weekend you're a judge. We're delighted to have you. You bring that other lens to it all. How amazing was it to just see the younger and older people here just committing through this particular hackathon to solving some of these problems, right?
I've heard a few of the different teams' challenges that they've selected and some of their ideas around how they want to solve these challenges. I'm excited for the end of the hackathon to see what actually the result of some of these projects are, just because even for all the technology experience I have, hearing some of these younger generation teams coming up with these ideas of things that, I never would have thought of that. So I'm just super excited to see how they think about solving problems that, some of us older guys maybe wouldn't have thought of, and just see the creativity that comes out of all this data and how they apply it.
Amazing. Aaron, thanks again for dedicating your time this weekend and for being part of this.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.